they made a trade with the Cowboys, which, of course, is major news. The Cowboys took Godfrey, the linebacker, the good inside linebacker with speed, and the Dolphins then moved down in the second round and then got a fourth-round pick as a result. Then, moving right along, the Dolphins got a 3, a 4, and 2 5s. Almost a Lawrence Welk deal, not a 1, a 2, and a 3, but a 3, a 4, and 2 5s in exchange for giving a 2nd and a 4 to Jacksonville. So the Dolphins pick up a couple extra picks there. So Jimmy Johnson said he would rebuild through the draft. He's doing exactly that. He's got many picks in the 3rd and 4th round. And what do you think they're looking now with double picks at this point, guys?
Well, I would think running back at some point.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an area where they have Parmalee coming off the injury. Of course, Terry Kirby's there. And, of course, they like Irving Spikes in the I formation to see what he can do. But there's really not an established player, not really a big-time star that has a problem. Kirby's had some injuries. Now Parmalee, a free agent with the injuries. And Spikes, another undrafted free agent. So a mixed bag right there, but not a top talent.
Abdul-Jabbar?
Yeah.
I mean, Abdul-Jabbar. I mean, that to me, I think would be it. There's your
Dawkins.
There's your, Dawkins is another one. Parmalee, Kirby, Spikes, not a lot of production on the offense. But remember, I think that these statistics are a little bit misleading because you have Dan Marino as a quarterback. If you have Dan Marino as your quarterback, you're not going to want to necessarily just try and run the football and see 1,000-yard rushers. I don't think it makes sense. I think if the Miami Dolphins can find one player to gain 1,100 yards to give Dan Marino a break back there, then they're going to have the offense on the right track. I don't think running back by committee is good. I mean, Mike Lombardi, I think, put it as well as anybody in a meeting we had yesterday. He says, when you got a lot of times you got nothing. And I think in the case of the running back situation for Miami, they just haven't been able to find somebody who can produce for them. I think Bernie Parmalee has done a terrific job. A guy who really was a major special teamer has done a terrific job at running back, but I think it's an area that they need to address, and they can improve at.
As we get set to go to Chris Mortensen in Miami, a note, and Joe, you pointed it out here, everybody in the division really except Miami has gone wide receivers. The Jets twice with Keyshawn Johnson and Alex Van Dyke. Indianapolis going with Marvin Harrison. Terry Glenn going to New England. And Eric Moulds going to Buffalo. So it's been a receiver-heavy draft for everybody but Miami in this division thus far. Let's go to Chris Mortensen, who now you'll be quite busy, Mort. Miami's up with a pair. Where do you think they're headed?
Well, just as you just covered it, with all the receivers being taken in this division, the Dolphins lost Troy Vincent. I guarantee you they're going to take a cornerback, some defensive backs during the next couple of rounds, perhaps even with one of these 2 picks or both of these picks, because J.B. Brown's one corner, and, of course, Terrell Buckley's the other corner. There's Jimmy, brought his coaching staff in to talk about the picks they've made. And as you pointed out so adeptly, they are going to have to deal with some receivers in this draft. So they got pass rushers, they need defensive backs, they need speed, and that's the way I think Jimmy Johnson will go during the 3rd, 4th, and even 5th rounds. Chris?
Mort, thanks, Mort. You see in that war room there, over to the right of the picture there was Gary Stevens, one of the holdovers from Don Shula's staff. There weren't many, but he was, of course, the offensive coordinator these years under Don Shula, and Jimmy knows him from Miami days. So he stayed in, and, of course, is a good advisor there for Jimmy. There's Gary right there, Joe.
Well, I think there's a little bit of a tip-off when Jimmy Johnson goes over and talks to Gary and says, you know, I'm sure he's asking him some opinions, which really has got to make Gary feel good, because in the beginning we saw Jimmy tell all his coaches, I don't necessarily want you in here, but you want to come in, well, that's fine.
We like making Gary feel good. Now here's a story. Folks out there may not know this. Tom Jackson's linebacker coach at Louisville, the head coach was Lee Corso. The linebacker coach was Gary Stevens. So you see, it is all in the family. We give our guys some pub. At any rate, Miami is on with pick number 79, pick number 80, and then San Diego and Indianapolis. What about defensive back, Joe? We mentioned the receivers there. I mean,
absolutely.
Right?
I mean, you know,
you got to think one of these picks is that.
Yeah,
way.
You really do. And Mort said it could well be 2. Look at the statistics. I mean, 2 touchdown passes allowed, 9 interceptions in the first 3 games. Then the last 13, 28 interceptions, or I should say, wow. 28 touchdown passes allowed, only 5 interceptions. Now, I will defend the defensive backs of the Miami Dolphins here a little bit. A lot of times when you're asked to cover over an extended period of time, it's not easy to cover people, especially the receivers of the quality we have in this league. I think a little bit of the pressure up front wasn't there, therefore they had to cover a lot longer. This football team certainly could use cornerback help, without a question.
Let's go to Mel's board, and we got someone left?
Yeah, we do. I think it's the interesting player in this whole draft process. You know, Matt Stevens, who had the injury. Teams have to really figure, you know, how quickly can he come back? Is he going to be ready for the start of training camp? You know, can we have to invest a whole year before we get any in return on our investment? That's what teams are deciding.
He
right
had
now.
what, ACL, but he's come back quicker thus far than expected.
Oh, yeah,
correct? In
yeah,
his
he's
rehab.
definitely come back
And I know
quicker.
something about rehabbing knees now. I didn't want to, but I do. Right, but he's come along.
He has come along, and he's a great talent. He would have been a top 20 to 25 pick. He was right up there with the Walt Harrises and certainly the top corners in this draft.
Let's go to the podium in Miami. It's a twofer.
Dolphins, first choice obtained from Jacksonville. They select Dorian Brew, defensive back from Kansas.
There we go.
Dorian Brew, defensive back from Kansas. Miami's other choice, the 80th overall, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, running back from UCLA. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, running back from UCLA. The Chargers are on the clock.
So the voice of the third round, Jim Steig, announcing Dorian Strange Brew, the defensive back from Kansas. And here's a home for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar from UCLA. Again, you wouldn't think he doesn't have the blazing speed, but productive. And productive, Jimmy Johnson, we understand.
And a tremendously hard worker, Chris, which is what certainly Jimmy wants in a football player. This guy gets in and out of the hole. He's quick. Look at the vision, change of direction skills. Sure, he doesn't have great 40 speed, but how many running backs go 80 yards in this league in one play with the ability of these cornerbacks and in pursuit and when they have an angle? It's just not going to happen. Between a 5 and 15-yard range, this guy is quick. This is the highlight play against Arizona when he reversed his field, broke tackles, and then took it in for a touchdown. But, I mean, his work ethic is tremendous. He can catch the football. He's just not a 210-pounder. He doesn't have 4.4 speed, but yeah, I'll tell you, he has the rest. And to get him in the third round, this is just about the spot last year where Curtis Martin went. I wouldn't be surprised to see Kareem Abdul-Jabbar come into Miami's team and have an outstanding rookie year.
And it isn't coincidental. I don't think it's coincidental, Mel, that he winds up in the AFC East, because you know that Dan Marino is going to be able to turn around and hand the ball to somebody they think can play. Jimmy Johnson is going to go in and make people clean out that backfield position. He is not going to play running back by committee back there. I just guarantee you, he's not going to allow Gary Stevens to do that. They're going to settle on some football players, put them out on the football field, and they're going to try and put their best bunch out there. So I think this is a good pick. Actually, both picks, I think, are very good for the needs of the Dolphins.
San Diego has just picked. It didn't take Bobby Beathard very long. Brian Roach, is that right? The tight end from San Jose State. Now, in talking with Bobby Beathard this week, he said the wide receiver, we need a strong linebacker. We need maybe a little help at the tight end spot. So he's going bang, bang, bang. We will talk about San Diego, maybe a little more about Miami, but it was a very busy place for a little while. Now Jimmy can take a deep breath. And we are back. Our draft coverage continues in round number 3. A reminder that round 4 tomorrow begins at 11 a.m. on Sunday, Eastern time. And that's, let's see, now that we're in the winter, now that's 5 a.m. in Hawaii if you want to tune in early. You get the 4th round on ESPN1 with Mike Tirico and company. And then at 1 p.m. Eastern, we go over to ESPN2 for the remaining rounds 5, 6, and 7. 2 tight ends have just gone. We said Brian Roach, San Diego, from San Jose State. And then Scott Slutzker just went. He's not even on this graphic yet. Scott Slutzker, tight end Iowa, has just gone to the Colts. And there he is. So what was that, 7 tight ends at this point, Mel? And I know it's the 3rd round, but still that shows you it's been deeper the last couple of years at this position.
It has, and a lot of teams filled those positions last year. When you look at Brian Roach, he was at the Hula Bowl. He had a great pass-receiving tight end, came over from the JUCO ranks, and then really came on strong. When you watch his ability to get off the line of scrimmage, get into the pass route, locate the quarterback, and then catch the football with his hands. And for a big kid, I mean, he's 255 pounds. He's not super strong, but he does have some ability as an inline blocker, but that's certainly an area, if there's an area he needs to upgrade, it's in that particular part of the game, inline blocking. But catching the football, this was actually in the Hula Bowl, has a lot of Brent Jones in him, that type of ability.
Nothing wrong with that.
If you have a strong offensive line and you can get away with having a guy who's more of a finesse player, like a Novacek, say, in Dallas, then that would be an ideal situation for Brian Roach, and certainly that's what San Diego is developing. When you look at Scott Slutzker, ironically, I compared him in my report to Ken Dilger. He went to Indianapolis, so now they have Ken Dilger out of the Big Ten from Illinois, and also Scott Slutzker from Iowa. They have a good double tight end situation. Slutzker is in that Dilger mold. Big, strong kid, very good inline blocker.
But no, what are they doing with him if they got Dilger?
Well, this is a guy.
Dilger's a good player.
Dilger is, but you need two. And, of course, they use a lot of double tight end situations that develop during the course of a game, and you don't want to be in a situation where you have no backup, and they need some productivity from their backup tight end. And you also look at Slutzker and you say, well, he stands up